Ew. Let's go. I'm gonna hit that ew one more time. Ew. It's your girl, Mina Mendoza, little girl, big personality, queen of spice. Yo, we here. It's Thursday. It's 7 p.m. We feeling spicy. It's a gloomy day, but my energy's feeling so good today. Yo, I must say, it's been a very, very great week. One thing that I want to do is start off with a couple shout outs during this episode before we really get into like the dopest episode ever. I feel like every show I'm going to introduce it like that. So I want to give some shout outs. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Bravery Studios for having this podcast happen. Let's go. They're going to have an event this Sunday. Comedy Jam at Bravery Studios. Yes. Show up, and it's actually a free event. So check it out at the Bravery Studios Instagram page if you want to find out more info. A couple other shout outs that I want to give is shout out to Rip Dispensary in Jersey City. Your girl, the Queen of Spice, was out there on Grove Street. Shout out to Jersey Media. They were out there filming it. But it was a whole vibe. I was giving them out free weed. I was giving out edibles. I was giving out merch. And all I had people there to do was just like honestly answer some questions. And we got to like speak to like some beautiful random, human beings. And it got me to like, I feel like network with the whole city. And honestly, it was a surprise to me that a lot of them didn't even know they had this dispensary. So shout out to Rip Dispensary. They're giving a $5,000 giveaway of weed. All you got to do is buy some bud, oil, whatever it is that you want. You buy anything. You can make 10 purchases, and each purchase you'll get a raffle ticket. So definitely make your purchases. Check it out. Also, I'm having an event. I'm going to shout it out on every episode. Shout out to the pop-up event. We got Astra Entertainment. We got Breaking Grounds. So it's going to be called the pop-up event on May 3rd. Rip Dispensary from 6 to 10 p.m. Show up. It's another free event. It's going to be a dope-ass vibe. Outside, inside, I'm going to be hosting it. We're going to have Lord Cartel. We're going to have China. We're going to have Action Figure 973. It's going to be a lot of showcases of talent. So please make your butt there. All right, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get done with the shout outs later, but I want to go ahead and get into the episode. We're gonna introduce my extra special spicy guest today. Shout out to the Junk Experiment.
Yeah. What's up? How we doing, y'all?
You saw how I did there? I wanted to like replicate how you kind of like went into your intro for the Tiny Desk submission. I was like, I can replicate this a little bit. Yo,
yeah, no, that's what I was going for. That's funny.
How you feeling, my friend?
I'm feeling fantastic.
Fantastic.
I'm here. I'm in the studio. I'm with Mina.
Yes.
We're out on the Bravery Studios.
Let's go.
I don't know. Life can be better right now.
Love it. So, my friend, the Junk Experiment. Please run us through that name.
Well, I have many names. The Junk Experiment, PRE, that motherfucker.
Ooh.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I was told only to curse a little bit, but people call me these things.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Nah, but anyway, I go by the Junk Experiment because, well, I have a saying. It's, I take another man's trash and I turn it to treasure.
Okay.
And essentially, what I mean by that is that, like, I see that this music, I'm a total music nerd. Just warn you right now. So I'm about to unload all my nerdiness on you. But
no, that's
very
cool.
Little at a time. I'm not going to,
Let it out.
Nerdiness is not allowed unless consensual.
It's cool. Let it out. This is a safe place.
Okay.
This is a safe place.
I see the trash as the theoretical junk pile of all genres of music. I see genres of music as schools of thought. I see, just kind of like Freud, he came up with psychoanalysis. Okay. Or like Jung, he came up with Jungian analysis. Those were all based off of Greek philosophers.
You're talking about Carl Jung?
Yeah.
I was going to go for psychology at one point. I changed my mind, though. I was like, yo, why these people sounded bad school-like? But I got you. I'm here with you.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go any deeper into that, but they had these schools of thoughts that created this bigger thing called, psychology, you know? And I think that, music is just a bunch of school of thoughts, and I think that with the internet, we have this chaotic world of like being able to be inspired by whatever the hell we want to be inspired by.
Facts.
And I'm trying my best here to, take another man's trash and turn it to treasure.
I love that.
The Junk Experiment.
Let's go.
Boom.
Let's go.
I'm hearing the bang, so I had to say it.
I need to get curious though. Before we created this name, were there any other names that you kind of dabbled, played with, trial and errors? You know, I want to get curious. I want to see how your mind works.
I see what you're saying. Well, I mean, it's actually kind of funny. Before I even get into earlier names, the Junk Experiment was initially, I used to make only hip hop when I was like 15, 14 years old. I used to take a bunch of samples. I used to be really into like J Dilla.
14?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to be really into Dr. Dre. I loved that G-Funk sound. I was always bumping Doggy Style by Snoop Dogg. All that stuff. Why?
Yes.
I was a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. I don't know, and he just put me on. I heard about Dr. Dre, Terrence Martin. Oh man, I heard about so many different people that were on that West Coast vibe, and
that vibe is dope.
I like the East Coast vibe too.
Yeah.
I'm not in between or anything, but I don't know. So I thought, I was like, okay, well, the junk pile are my samples. So the Junk Experiment, but slowly but surely over time that metamorphosized. But I've been the Junk Experiment since I was 14. So I'm in this position of I had a PRE, I had a Doberman, I had some weird stuff like DTP, but then I realized that was already a thing that Ludacris did, Disturbing the Peace. So I was like, I don't know.
I'm dead.
So that's all I really have been since I was 15, and I'm 25 now. So I've been the Junk Experiment for 10 years now.
I love that. So it's like evolving. Evolving.
The music evolved. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Like the style, because it's like what I'm hearing is like a hodgepodge of sounds kind of put together, and I love that. That's what I feel like. And you know, everybody who hasn't like give out your Instagram handles, so like people who are watching right now, where can we find it?
You can find me at the Junk Experiment on all social media. Oh wait, look at that camera. The Junk Experiment, all social media, Instagram, Spotify. That's all it really is. I mean, Facebook. I guess you can find me on Facebook. Yeah, all that stuff. All platforms.
All
the
social
Junk
platforms.
Experiment. Nice and easy because it's a long name, so I had to make it easy. So.
Let's go. But everybody, now that y'all got the handle, please go check out the music. I must say, I don't know how I found your music. I remember, but I found it, and I was like, in my head, I was like, yo, this is dope. This is different. The first song I heard, it was dope. It was very dope. And like, I'm putting people onto it. Like, it was the Tiny Desk submission. And what gravitated to me, I was like, oh shit, like, it was like a reel. And then I saw like all the different types of people. So there was a lot of diversity in your video, which I loved. A lot of sounds that I loved. I heard a lot of like, it was like blues, jazz, R&B, kind of hip hop. And I loved how you combined it, but I also loved how long the song was. It was pretty long. No, but it was a vibe.
That's so funny. Yeah,
it was a vibe because it looked like you guys just like hung out, saved it, it worked, it made it work. And it also made it feel like it was a live performance. And it kind of like, I wanted to wear, even when you kind of like introduced it in the beginning and when you was just like talking, you was talking for like a minute.
I know. So I feel like that was a little
it's
against
good.
the rules.
It's good because when I think about performances back in the day, and shout out to Jim Morrison, rest in peace. Shout out to the American poet, but that's how he started his music a lot. He would kind of go into like I don't know, like a whole
spoken word almost.
Yeah, like kind of like a poetry jam, like open mic type of vibe, and then all of a sudden like you'll hear the drums and you'll hear the talking. That's the vibe I got. I don't know if that's what you were going for.
It was actually inspired by my bassist. My bassist, he wrote a lot of spoken word poetry, and I he was the guy that I quoted, hatred is just a symptom of misunderstanding. And I just saw that as a quote personally in a poem. Yeah. So I thought, this is going to be a part of the art. It's a little sketchy considering it's a contest, and I got to get people to stick with it. Yeah. And keep their attention span, because attention spans these days are. But other than that, I like to think of myself as not just a musician. I'm a human being, and I don't constrict myself. So I thought, you know what, screw it. I'm going to start the song with a poem.
That was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got it. Like,
Well, appreciate you.
Yes. It was a dope vibe. And then I also studied a little bit of your like other profiles. So I was like, oh shit. And then I noticed that I actually was listening to some of your music. I don't know if it's kind of on TikTok-y, because I heard another song of yours that I was just like, yo, why do I feel like I heard this somewhere before? I was hearing it earlier today. Hold on. I had it on my Spotify. Yeah, I'm not lying.
Oh, okay. That song. Okay.
No, not this song. In general, like, I was listening to the album, like the Gumbo album. So I was like, all right, like, what is this about? I was just got there because I was like, oh shit, like, I noticed he has a lot of like, like that was the intro. Gumbo. It was Preferably Forever.
Yeah, that's probably my most popular song right now.
That's really cool. Yeah. I like that song. But I feel like I heard that somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I'm just randomly listening to music on Spotify, but that one's dope too.
Well, thank you. Yeah. That one I actually wrote in my college dorm.
Really?
And, yeah, I mean, I just recently started a studio, and it's a very professional whole thing. And I think it's kind of ironic that my most popular song was recorded with an NT1 microphone, which is like $100 mic, and it had dust in it, probably from smoke and just stuff over time, and and the reverb that you hear in that song is just room reverb. It's just like so. Yeah, I just worked with what I had, and it's my most popular song out of all the other ones, which are so much more professionally done. But hey, man, sometimes music stands its test of time. So.
Nah, it's dope. I was just listening to your catalog, and I was like, all right, this is really cool. You got a lot of magic going on.
Well, thank you.
A lot of magic, my friend.
I appreciate that.
Now we got to talk about how this magic started happening, though. Because you talked about you were making music since 14.
Oh, God. I've been making music since before I can remember. Like 4, 5, maybe 3. I don't know.
I'm not doubting it. I'm not doubting it. But I guess, like, when can you actually say that you started to write music? You were like actually like taking it farther, you know what I mean?
When I was 11. Now the integrity of that music, it probably wasn't the best, but I mean that that spark, that's all you need.
What was it though? Like singing? Was it just like
I was rapping?
Okay,
I started off rapping. Yeah,
let's go.
I started off rapping. I came back from my a camp session. It was like some church camp retreat.
Not the church camp retreat. Came back as a rapper.
I know. Isn't that kind of ironic, actually? And then
I'm here for it.
I had some Apple headphones, and I just went for it. I just started talking to the microphone and
love it.
Found beats on YouTube, and then I thought to myself, I kind of want to make my own beats, and then I started doing that, and so I mean, I started writing when I was 11, but I mean, I also have my first ever written song was the Red Game Boy. With my Uncle Rogers.
Game Boy. When
I was 4 years old. It was like, the Red Game Boy. It was like,
yo, okay. Hold on. Red Game Boy.
Yeah. That's my first ever written song.
Why that name?
Because I was obsessed with my Red Game Boy when I was a kid. I was playing Mario and stuff.
Okay. Everybody that's in the check-in, if you had a Game Boy back in the day, what color was your Game Boy? I'm curious. I'm like, what color was my Game Boy? I feel like I had.
Oh, you had one?
I had one.
Yeah?
I definitely did. I had a colored Game Boy. It was like, I think it was like magenta pink. I definitely did. Damn, you brought it back. Brought it back right there.
I mean, I was young back then, yeah. But that's the first Trace song that I know that I wrote, which is the Red Game Boy, yeah.
when you started, like, I guess, when did we start switching styles?
When I went to college, I started listening to jazz music, and then I started studying it.
Who introduced it to you?
Shout out my friend Avery Scotia, aka Wavery. You can check him out.
Yeah,
shout out that man. You can follow him at Wavery Music on Instagram. But he's a man that really influenced me. I didn't know how to. I went into college not knowing a thing about the keyboards, and I was just a drummer. Been playing since I was a kid, and he kind of played some Miles Davis. He was like, here, let's just jam to this. It's all the white keys. I think it's called All Blues. And I was like, started jamming. I was like, hey, I can kind of do this. Okay. And then, I thought, maybe I should study this. So I started practicing my ass off. And 2 years later, I was in the program. And yeah, that's that. So that's kind of what metamorphosized my style. I got more into jazz. But I don't know. My mom was a very open-minded individual, and she was a major influence on me. So she kind of had a role in me just having a very open mind and having the idea of like music's a school of thought. And I personally believe as a composer, it's my job as a musician for pleasure not to be the law. If pleasure is the law, then I'm not challenging myself. I'm just sticking to a routine. I'm saying robotic, and sometimes it comes out really good, and sometimes it's like, okay, let's not release this. But I just let creativity be my compass. I don't really worry about a genre anymore. I hear something, I'm like, I want that.
I like that. I like that. You said your mom was a major influence to you having an open mind. Growing up, what type of music did you grow up listening to in the house?
Good question. Well, that's a very eclectic mix because I had my uncle, who was an African American man. We weren't related directly, but he had a totally different ideology about what was good music. You know, and then, you know, my mom grew up, she was a country gal. You know, she was from Missouri. She talked like this a little bit, but then she lived in New York City for a couple of years. So,
oh, shit.
So,
Got
you know, I was
gangsta.
learning about hip hop, 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg from my uncle. I was learning about blues, you know, funk, a lot of different genres of music from my uncle. And then my mom was an opera singer. She went to Juilliard. She did choral works, all that stuff. So I grew up with a lot of, you know, Bach and, you know, Beethoven and more Bach, actually, stuff like that. And Haydn, Handel, a lot of old church music, which actually Handel wasn't church music. But anyway, I'm sorry, not to nerd out on you guys.
It's
Boom.
okay.
And then my father was a heavy rock and roll guy, so he liked the Led
type of
Zeppelins,
rock?
the Floyds, Pink Floyd, and
So like classic rock.
like progressive stuff, Genesis, and
Okay.
the list goes on. Yeah.
Okay.
And then my mom gave me an iPod, and it was game over. I just started like exploring a bunch of music with curse words in it.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
Yo, honestly, I don't blame you. I don't know if I like said this before on air, but like as a child, especially like, you know, I grew up in the 90s, 2000s. That was like my era. So I feel like having an iPod, that was like major. Like we didn't have Spotify. I don't know, the way we have access to music now, it's so different the way we had to access it before. It was like wild. It was like a journey. You could have blew up your computer. But anyways, freaking what I was trying to say, gosh, I just had a brain fart right now. Literally.
Those are the worst, especially when they're.
I was going to
mics
say
rolling.
something great. Literally, I was
okay.
going to say something great. We were talking about music, searching it. I was going to talk about Spotify. Oh, I feel like it'll come to me. I was leading somewhere and I forgot. Oh, that one, because we were talking about curse words.
Oh, yes.
Who gave me a DMX album? I have no idea. But I was 11 years old with a DMX album. And I remember it was the album that first came out. So I was like, roof. Like, yo, I was wilding out. I was an 11-year-old girl,
Damn.
Patterson. Like, yo, Rough Riders. That shit was wild. And I will always remember how impactful that album was to me. Who gave me that album? I don't know. But I always remember.
But you were vibing to it?
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah?
sure. That shit said explicit, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yo, I'm going to play this shit right now. And that shit was fire. So, like, when you say that, it's just like, as a kid, like, you see explicit or you hear the word curse and you're like, oh, nobody knows.
Oh, I wanna hear this.
Yo,
Yeah.
facts. And it's just like, I don't know. I know that moment. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, my first song that I felt to myself, my mom and dad probably wouldn't approve of me listening to this, was The What by Biggie Smalls featuring Method Man.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with that song.
Yes,
but
I am. We got a little bit of love for you, my friend. We got Jesse Rocca in the check-in.
Oh, I know that guy. That's my
Yes.
boy, Mercy. Yo, check him out. Mercy Morning
Let's
on Spotify
go.
and
Okay.
Instagram.
Thank you for checking in with us, my friends. Everybody that's also in the check-in, don't
Appreciate
forget
you,
to
Jesse.
like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We
That as
also
well.
got Tyler Manuel.
That is my brother from another mother.
There you go. Out here showing love. So they out here with us. Also, everybody, if you got a question, please ask the question in the check-in. We're answering questions. All right. So we talked a little bit about how you got your name, your music influences. It sounds like a lot of people were responsible for that. I love the piece that you're talking about jazz. I actually have a big love for jazz. I remember I walked into I discovered jazz 12 years ago. I remember I was in the city, and this is when the spot used to be called Fat Cat. It's not called Fat Cat anymore. It's called
Sounds
like
familiar.
Dog, Yard Dog now. It's still the same type of concept spot, but it's like in the basement. It's right across from It's like by Christopher Street, but it's in a basement. They got pool tables, they got like ping pong, and then they have like literally like a live like jazz, like all the sets, and they just play jazz music, and it's open until 4 a.m.
Cool.
And I remember it was a dope ass spot. Like everybody went there, and I was just listening to the music, and I remember sitting down. I'm like, yo, this is, because I feel like I have ADHD, so like I like how the sounds sound like they're making mistakes, but they're not, and it just goes.
Yeah.
And like the sounds are very erratic. It almost seems like they're clashing, but they're not. So like to me, in my mind, it's very harmonic.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
So like jazz is such a underrated, like all I can say is like Brazilian jazz, and also like yo, Brazilian jazz, I play that shit every morning. Swear to God.
Yeah?
Swear to God. That shit is so fire. So fire. And shout out to Matt from Prototype, and also Marv putting me on, because they used to play it, and I'm like, yo, I like this because it has no words that I could think about, and it's fun, it's funky. So jazz is cool.
Oh,
like
yeah.
jazz is
one of
dope.
my favorites.
Yeah. Do you play any instruments, my friend?
Yes. So I used to play. I play the drums, and I play the keys, and I still actively kind of play them, but I'm not anywhere as good as I used to be, unfortunately, because of a hand injury. So wasn't able to meet my fullest potential with those things, but which was a really hard go for me, because I auditioned to play piano as a performance major.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I had to drop out of music school for that reason.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to your hand?
It requires me being very honest.
What'd you do?
Well, let's just say that I was under the influence. And I played the drums for hours on hours in, probably like a whole night. And when I say a whole night, it was probably about 6 to 8 hours straight without stopping.
Wow. Okay. It's just going.
I was just going. Yeah. And I was feeling it. I wasn't missing a beat. It was probably the best I ever played in my life. It was hard to walk away. I was just feeling it. And then the next morning, I just felt this like, oh, I screwed up my hands. So, and I was at the time, auditioning for the piano program.
Yeah.
So I just kept going. I just said, screw it. I'm not going to listen to my hands. I'm just going to keep practicing. And, that's the only regret that I have with my life, is that I just didn't give myself 6 to 8 weeks. But
Joe, that's wild. You ran your hands to the ground. Like you were like, I'm gonna play this shit.
I'm a diehard musician, thick and thin.
Wild.
Like you can't take the music from me. I'm still going. I'll hire the musicians. I'll get my friends involved. I'll I've been working around it.
Like, I'm tuning in my Tommy. Don't stop me.
Yeah. Well, I got so many talented friends, so I feel like it really works out. So I got my buddies, my go-to guys. Shout out Jake. Shout out Dante. Shout out Prill. I'll give you guys all their Instagrams.
Next time stop him. Be like, yo, we need you to perform.
Yeah,
we need you
guys,
to
next
perform.
time stop me. Yeah, they don't stop me because they like hearing me play. They're like, oh yeah, keep going. Yeah.
Yo, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm dead. So we got some more love in the check-in. We got J Rose TV.
That is my brother.
Let's go.
What's up, J Rose? J Frozen. Me and him also have a song out.
What's it called?
We have 2 songs. Everything's Good and what's the other song? No Throwback.
No Throwback.
Yeah, No Throwback. You actually shared it.
Okay, yes, I did.
Video. Yeah.
That's a dope song too.
Yeah.
I think you said in that video that supposedly that was filmed at like 4 a.m. or something like that.
That was the Tiny Desk.
Tiny Desk. So that was filmed at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that music video? Like
that video was so fulfilling and awesome. I can't lie, but it was
Who
stressful.
filmed it?
Actually, the Jesse Roca guy, the Mercy. Yeah, he was the guy that filmed it. He also helped with a little bit of engineering, mixing, and setting up mics and stuff. He was a recording engineer. And we'll be working together again. Me and him are starting to develop a good business and just friendship, relationship.
Love that.
And so what ended up happening is I had these horn players that I met at my school, and I have this band that I practiced with consistently. They've played these tunes. We went on a couple of shows in Rochester, Buffalo, upstate New York area, and so they knew the tune. So I was like, guys, I'm just gonna get these horn players involved.
Yes.
So I called these horn players, but they lived in Boston because they were going there for grad school. I think they were studying music, and they had to take the troupe down, but they were going to get there till 9, and we still haven't rehearsed it. No, they've never actually played it with the band. So we had to rehearse it that night, get it together. Well, I wrote it down. I notated it for them and all that stuff. I had to do all that transposition crap, which hurts my brain. But I did it. And they came down at 9 o'clock, and we started rehearsing at 10. And I finally heard something. I was like, that's it, guys. We're good. At like 3:30 in the morning, and we started doing takes, and I think it was the 4th take that we used on that one that we were like, okay, we'll use this one. I thought my vocal performance was better than the 5th, but the band on the 4th was just, I was like, there's no way. We gotta do them due diligence, So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, who were the people singing?
Those are all friends of mine. I have songs with all of them, actually.
Really?
The one all the way to the left was Angelica, a.k.a. Keeni. You can check her out on Spotify. Spelled Keeni, not Eye. A lot of people mix that up. And then that was her sister, Madaji, who just, I happen to know her through her sister, Keeni. And then my other brothers, Alexander Prill, who's also an independent artist trying to do his thing. Check him out, Alexander Prill. We have a bunch of songs together, Cocobana, No Fuss. I think that's it, actually. And then next to him was another brother of mine who plays guitar on a lot of my tracks. His name is Jake Mauer. Jacoby Maui, the man, the myth, the legend.
Let's go.
Yeah, I call him the chord master. He's working on his bebop right now, and I bet you he's doing scales as we speak.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
We also got some new faces in the check-in. We got Gary Roos. I'm sorry if I murdered
That's my
your
pops.
last name.
What's up, pops?
Yay! Okay, like your father?
Yeah, that's my
okay,
dad.
like your Faja?
Hi, Dad.
Hey, hello, Dad. Thank you for tuning in.
Pops is in the house.
Let's go. So I guess like the video was fire.
Thank you. And shout out Jesse. Yeah, if you ever need a video.
There you go. That's your guy right there. So how are the submit? How does that work? I'm curious.
So you just go on their website, you put the link in, and that's it. It just has to say Tiny Desk Contest Submission 2024. Just make it known. It had to be live all the way through. So I tried to make it as raw as possible. I mean, didn't want any auto-tune on my vocals. If there were any mistakes, we tried to just get it as best as we could, but it was 4:30 in the morning. People were falling asleep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
you gotta work now.
Yeah. So we just, we thought, let's go with the raw vibes of this tune, and it's gonna pay homage to many of the greats of the 70s and 60s and 80s, where if they had a take, and it had to just be that one.
That part.
So, yeah, I just kind of wanted to capture the rawness, and I felt very fulfilled in doing that, and I put a lot of faith into the musicians that I had on there, and they came, they saw, they conquered, they killed it.
I love that.
I love them, all of them. Thank you guys. Shout out.
I love that. It was definitely a vibe. Like I was just like studying everybody, and at first I was like, "Yo, is this like your whole band?" And then you described it to me. It's just like a community.
It is 100% a community, and some of them I'm trying to combine.
Yeah.
Some of them, not everyone in there really. Some people it was their first time meeting.
Yeah.
The guitarist that was playing the guitar solo in that, he's a part of a band called Gord. You guys can check them out, gord.band on Instagram. They also have a drummer. He was the same drummer in that video.
Fire.
So they play together. I recorded for them, and I thought that he had a great sense of blues playing, and I wanted that sound. So I asked him to play with us, and he was in. And then everyone else, besides the horns, were just my brothers that I just been playing with. I've played in multiple bands with them. We've hung out together. We've partied together. We've done the whole nine.
Okay.
So, yeah. And I want nothing more but to make it with my brothers. To go with my brothers, and that's why I could have probably hit up other people to be a part of it, but those foundational guys I needed, and I will need for the next videos. Which there will be in other videos. So. Well,
the video is great.
Yeah.
I'm here for more of the content, for sure. Definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. I want to talk about it though. Have you performed? How did you feel when you first performed in front of people? Because I feel like that's got to be a wild ass feeling. Like, what did that feel like? You know what I mean?
Well, I've been performing since I was probably like 12 years old.
Okay.
So I'm not really the type of person that has stage fright. I'm just the type of person that's like, all right, this is me. This is what you're getting.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
I feel like fear is not something that I want to let dictate my life. I want to just, live life on the edge rationally.
That part.
Let's not get hurt. But at the same time, I just want to have that ability to go out on stage and do what I do. I feel like I was born for this. And if I ever do feel nervous, which is very rare, but it happens sometimes, the way I grow my balls is just being like, hey, you arrange this song. It is what it is. And then the minute I get on the stage, everything's fine. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
So can you talk to us maybe a moment where it didn't go in your favor? And I love that asking these type of questions because I feel like this shows the vulnerability side of us. Where it's like, for real. Like, it's like kind of like we're not always in control. We're not supposed to be always in control, We got to let things flow and let things happen organically. We want structure, of course.
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, has there ever been a situation, whether it was a performance or whether it was recording, or maybe it was, like, working with certain types of people, like, has there ever been an incident where, like, it taught you a lesson? It's like, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah, I mean, I've played...
And you don't have to say names,
No,
we're protecting people. But, like,
you.
just kind of like a story where it's just like, this happened to me.
Yeah, well, I've played in bands. I don't know. I've made many mistakes on stage,
Like what?
Well, I mean, most mistakes I made on stage were just due to the fact that I was probably a little too inebriated to be on stage.
Okay. Ooh, that's not good.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, we learn from our mistakes. But, I mean, I used to play the keyboards in a band called Marmalade Joe, which I wrote a lot for. It was kind of... most of the writing was in between me and my buddy Alexander Prill, who played in that video as well. And we were kind of the main guys that wrote. He was the lead singer, and I was the keyboardist. And it was probably one of the better shows I had, though. That's the funniest thing, because the energy was immaculate, and I definitely hit a lot of wrong notes. But the energy was immaculate.
Annihilated, but you did a great show.
Yeah, or I mean, I also think that there'll be I'm a band leader, so that Tiny Desk video, I definitely feel like I look back on it, I was like, okay, there was a lot of singing mistakes due to the fact that I just lost my voice. I just wasn't able to. I was talking over these people. I was like, oh wait, guys, stop, blah blah blah. I just need a second, and I can't expect a musician to just have their instrument in front of them and not be able to play it.
Yeah.
But, so I kind of lost my voice for that video. I tried to make the most out of it. I just try to let my heart and soul out. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters to me. And I feel like that's why I kind of don't really let mistakes bother me.
Okay. So you just kind of just go with it.
And if I do make a mistake, whatever, life goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely the drinking while performing, that's a big one. Even for myself, I feel like I've learned to have just like one drink on air, because sometimes, like, I don't know, I feel like it's enough. It's one to have liquid courage, and there's one to be just wasted. You kind of got to be right there in the middle. But once you teeter-totter into that wasted part, it's just like, oof.
Well, I mean,
we don't know what's gonna happen.
Specific show, that was very much so like there's a large crowd there, and I could hardly hear myself.
Ooh.
So I thought that was one thing that made me feel better about it, is the sound guy was not doing the keyboardist. I'm sorry for every keyboardist out there. I know that the sound isn't good for you guys. If you're playing in a rock band or like jam band, it's hard to get a keyboardist to sound good with the band.
Cause I get what you're saying. Cause now that I think about it, it's like the drums, the guitar, everything's gonna overtake you.
And to be honest, if you're playing rock or funk music or something like that, the guitarist is probably the more dominant thing you want to hear. So
that's why you gotta give him a little solo.
Yeah, no, I had a solo, and it wasn't bad.
Solo,
but
solo, show some love. Show some love.
So,
Okay.
No regrets.
All right. I'm here for it. Now, let's get into like a little bit of like the fun. I wouldn't say it's like the fun part, but I like asking this question because this is where I like to get creative with my guests.
I'm ready.
I'm going to pass you this card, okay? Now, this card, we're going to pretend like this is a black American Express titanium metal, that type of card, you know? And I'm going to give this to you, and you're going to have 24 hours to do whatever it is that you want. You're never going to have to owe it back.
Okay.
But you have 24 hours. So keep in mind, a lot of times when I ask this question to people be like, oh, I'm going to fly here, or I'm going to go there. I'm like, yeah, but like a flight will take you 6 hours. Be realistic, you know? So it starts at 12 a.m. will end at 11:59
And it's
p.m.
infinite. Infinite funds for that 24 hours.
Yeah.
So I can spend as much as I want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Passing you the card. Go for it.
Can I get philosophical?
You get whatever you want. The card is in your, like, the world's your oyster right now.
I think that, you know, we live in a world.
You just can't get rid of the card.
Okay, I won't.
I'm like, yo, like, why did I feel like he was going to get rid of the card?
This card is the power right here. And I have 24 hours, and I feel like in 24 hours I wouldn't be able to solve this problem, but I wish I could. And I feel like that if we, you know, I think there's an economic disparity in our world, and we live in an oligarchy. For those of you who don't know what that means a world ruled by money. And I think I'd spend that 24 hours maybe reading books and trying to figure out how to fix those economic disparities. As crazy as I sound.
That's it?
That's it. I don't need anything. I already got everything I need. I got a studio. I got a microphone. You know, I have a roof over my head.
No new guitar. No new camera.
I mean, the first thing that comes that comes to mind is a Line Audio Eden 386 and a CL1B.
I'm saying you
all
can
that
spoil
stuff.
yourself a little bit. You could be vain.
Okay, then I will go ahead and say a Line Audio.
You can do that and
Eden,
do that.
which is a tube mic, which is like pretty sexy, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
But no, honestly, I'm very, very adamant about this whole issue.
Yeah, your dad's watching this. He's like, you're not gonna get me a house? Like, yo.
Hey, pops, we got a house together. We're chilling, right?
Okay.
We're chilling. Yeah, But other than that, no. To be honest, if that's my main focus. I have everything I need in my life. I can make music whenever I want. I own a business, and it provides for me. It provides opportunities for me. It allows me to make music. And my goal in life is just to try to make the world a better place, to, you know, clean up that mess.
Love that. He's like, I want to leave a positive footprint while I'm here.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that.
I know that, like, you know, that's probably impossible, but I don't care. I'm crazy. I was reading Karl Marx the other day to, like, find things that don't agree with capitalism. Because I guess I would believe, I'm a believer in capitalism. I think it's one of the best ways to run the world. But I'm here like, okay, well, let's see the other point of view, you know? Yeah. And now I got an Adam Smith book on the way that I ordered on Amazon, which he's the founder of modern day economics and capitalism. So I don't really know much about that side, and I'm going to read two sides of the story. So
I mean, that's good, because in the end of the day, like, our perspectives are our perspectives, but the main thing you want to do is be educated on your perspective. You know, you don't want to just say like, oh, this and that because of this and that. You want to actually have like the knowledge that like that you could actually conversate and just pass on facts. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you are interested in something, read it, pass the knowledge. You know, do what you need to do. The only thing I always ask people, just don't force your perspectives on other people. Be open-minded to speak about it. But, like, you know, like, don't pressure anybody to something. Don't pressure something to somebody they don't want to do. And, like, respect if they don't like what they're hearing. But, you know, still talk about it.
I agree
Learn
with
how
you.
to be super Switzerland.
Everyone has their right to their own autonomy. And I believe in that, too. You know, I have this weird saying that it was inspired by this Scottish philosopher. His name is Soren Kierkegaard. I don't know if you ever heard of him. It says, we are all knights of faith and stone cold fools, but, you know, if someone's going to be a stone cold fool, so be it. Let him be a stone cold fool. Okay. In terms of, basically what he's saying is that you're justified in whatever you want to believe in, just like respect it, what other people believe in. That part. And very simple terms. That's in
Okay.
more simple terms. He's very crazy, brilliant philosopher that I don't understand everything he says.
What are you
but
going to school for?
I studied psychology and philosophy in school.
Okay.
Which is, I guess,
I'm
where I got all
like,
this
yo, you're
knowledge.
giving like philosophy major vibes, like
I
for
studied
sure.
it, yeah.
I was just like the questioning of the thought process. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's giving a lot of philosophy vibes for sure, for sure.
That's why when I do music, it's a very philosophical process. It's like, what's the point of it? Why am I doing it? And, you know, what tradition am I trying to pay homage
Is this
to?
music even here?
I don't go that deep into it. If life's an illusion, I'm falling for it, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with being a stone cold fool.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I love it. I love it. Oh man, and we also got some new love here. We got Handsome Kai. He said, "Are you a Goku or a Vegeta guy?"
Oh God, is Goku the guy from
Dragon Ball Z.
Kamehameha? And who's it? I don't know. I'm sorry, Kai, but
Oh.
I'm gonna go Goku just because I like the
Vegeta
spiky
was always
hair.
like the bad guy. Like
Is that
Vegeta,
the bald dude?
No, Vegeta was always like he was short. Like Goku was definitely larger than him, but Vegeta was like always short, and he was like always like just mean. Like he's never like, I don't even think I ever seen Vegeta smile, and when he smiles, he just looks evil. It's like, that's what he looks like. But do you have a question and check in? I guess he's not sure.
No. I'll answer the question. I
Okay.
choose the spiky hair dude.
Goku was like the good guy.
He's got the spiky hair, right?
Yeah.
Orange.
But I mean, they both have spiky hair.
Ah, damn, I don't know.
Goku was like
I
the
don't know.
good guy. The Goku was like the main character. Vegeta was like the villain, but then kind of good character. So I guess Goku.
Oh yeah.
Goku.
Well,
All right.
he's the main character.
All right,
And
he's
I
going
don't
with
really
the
know
main
anything, so
character
I'm
vibes.
biased. I'm sorry, Kai.
Main
but
character vibes.
That's funny.
All right. So we also have Sam Pesh.
Hey, that is the Ginger Buddha, Mad Buddha
Let's
abuser.
go. All right, my friends. Thank you for the check-in. Keep those questions coming.
Sammy P.
So I gotta ask, like, what is something that you want to conquer with your music? Like, where would you love it to be in like 10 years?
Well, I'd love to have an audience, but I've come to the conclusion that I'm not really someone that really likes a lot of attention, which is kind of ironic.
Really?
I mean, I used to love attention. I jumped out of trees when I was a kid. I had a Jackass like YouTube channel. Like,
I feel like everyone went through that period.
yeah.
You know?
I was about it. I was about the attention, and then I channeled that into music, and then I realized I am someone who values this more simple life, but
Okay.
at the same time, I just feel like it's my duty, you know, to try to make this world a better place. And I feel like the only that, you know, given my background of all I really know is music, I don't know why I'm doing it. I genuinely don't have a reason for it, just because I love it. It's all I know, and I'm just, you know, blindly being faithful, just going balls deep into it. And
Okay.
what was your question again?
What do you want your music to be in 10 years?
Yeah, that's a complicated question, but I mean, of course, I would love to have a bigger audience. You know, I'm starting to build a pretty good audience now, small little fan base, which is really cool. You know, but at the same time, I want an audience that can impact change. I want to be. I know this sounds crazy, a danger to society. Shout out Frederick Nietzsche, but being a danger to society is essentially just challenging it. I don't want. I want to do it rationally. You know, I'm not gonna be a terrorist or anything. I'm not crazy
chill.
like that.
Don't be saying that on
Okay,
YouTube,
I'm sorry,
yo.
I'm sorry.
Take that back.
I said not, okay? No, but when I say it sounds like it could be misconstrued when you say danger to society. But I see, you know, a lot of people who, you know, went against the objective ideology of the time, or the dominant societal values of the time, stood up against them and said, no, this is what I believe that the world could be, and this is the way that I believe I can shape it.
Yeah.
Those are the people who, you know, have a lot of courage and don't let fear dictate their life, going back to what I was saying before. So I'm trying to be that person. I guess in a way, kind of not be a martyr, but be the person that, you know, doesn't just, my music isn't for myself. It's someday down the line, I'm hoping to write some killer lyrics that will have people in tears. And make them want to make the world a better place, and maybe even think critically, and they pass it down to their children, and they pass it down to their children's children, and their children's children, and their children's children, and it becomes a generational knowledge of positivity and realism. Though, you know, you still gotta be realistic.
That part.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything that you want to wish for else before you give me that card back, because you're not taking it with you. Just saying. Anything else?
Nothing. All I have is jokes in my head right now.
It's okay. Yo, you can buy all the books that you ever wanted. Remember, this is like something that you can't have. Like if you wanted to go to the Vatican and get the Da Vinci Code book, you could do that.
You can do that. All right. Well, okay. No, you know, I would go to space. That's what I do. Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know if you could come back. Remember, it's 24 hours.
No, I just go up real quick and come back down.
I don't think that's possible.
Oh, no.
No, I really think about it because I think...
How long does it take to get to space?
I don't know. Actually, yeah, let's look that up. Anybody in the check-in, if they want to help us, but I'm actually going to look that up right now. How long does it take to get to space? And that's pretty... I'm actually kind of curious about that. Like, how does that work? Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Wow.
How long?
That's crazy.
What is it?
You could get to space in like 7 minutes.
I'm going to space, ladies and gentlemen. I got my MasterCard right
Yo,
here.
I didn't know that. That's wild. Why didn't I think it took like 8 hours? Like, like you had to go.
Well, I mean,
through,
you
like,
are in a rocket ship. Just...
Yo, but that's gotta be a crazy ass feeling. Just like my face would just like melt. Like, just what the hell? Like, I can't even imagine that G-force. It's wild.
No, I mean, you gotta train for it.
Yo.
But I would train.
Yo, you should do
24 hours.
Listen,
I'll train for it.
You gotta take
training.
the whole Tiny Desk submission band to that spaceship. Be like, yo, we're gonna film this and come back. That would be sick. Just start floating.
That'd be cool.
Floating, singing the song. Like, that should be pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, me and my buddy Wavery, who we have a song called Trust Issues together. You can check it out on Spotify.
Let's go.
We always have been saying we're gonna be the first band to perform on the moon.
Let's go. The moon.
And if we need to figure out how to propagate sound waves up there because there's no air molecules, we'll figure it out.
Yo, I'm dead, yo. He's gonna get the humans and the aliens to listen to your music.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
You
That's
give
where I see
those
myself
type
in
of
10
vibes.
years.
Yo, fact, that's where you see yourself in 10 years, yo. They're gonna be like, yo, junk experiment from Earth. That's what they're gonna say in Pluto. That's cool. That's cool. That's definitely out of this mind type of thinking. Anything else before you give me back the card?
That's all I got.
I give you back the card.
Here you go.
Ew, let's go.
I no longer have the power, ladies and
No
gentlemen.
more. But yeah, I heard it though. Yeah, I heard it. That's actually a cool concept. That's really cool. I love it. All right. I always like to ask this question because I do like to get curious. Like, how would we impact the world if we had the power to bring people back to life and create music with them? If you had to choose 3 artists, dead or alive, to make music with, and it could be a producer, it could be a singer, it could be a rapper. You have 3 people to bring back to life.
Oh, I have so many people.
Yo, but
First person that comes to mind is Miles Davis.
Okay, we got one.
Oh, but I'm in between Miles Davis and Coltrane because like they're both legends.
No, man,
I don't know if I'd be able to hang with
remember,
Coltrane.
Remember, you got 3 choices,
I don't know
and
if I got
you
the
know
chops
what?
for that.
You know what? What we'll do? We'll do 3 choices, and we'll do 1 honorable mention.
Okay, deal.
All right.
I'm gonna go with Miles Davis.
Okay.
Because I feel like I'd be able to hang with Miles Davis.
Let's go.
That's a pretty brave statement actually, but we'll say Miles Davis. Ah, crap.
It's number 2.
Number 2. Miles Davis. I would want to really go back in time. I feel like it'd be cool to like make a song with Mozart. Just to be like, screw it, let's just see what it's like.
Was he deaf?
That's Beethoven.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I know one of them had
Mozart
a
was
disability.
like batshit crazy, and that sounds like my kind of guy.
Yeah. That's just cool. That'd be sick. Okay, so we're 2.
Miles Davis, Mozart.
All right, let's go. Who's number 3?
Oh my God.
Number 3. You got
P&B Rock. No, I'm kidding.
I'm done.
Number 3. Okay, dead artist. I feel so on the spot right now.
As you should. You're in a podcast.
No.
It's your show. Well, it's my show, but I'm interviewing you.
Freddie Mercury.
Yes,
love to
Queen
sing a tune with him.
vibes.
I would love to sing a tune with him.
And you know what's funny? That you said that. I got that vibe from the Tiny Desk submission when you were like kind of telling those people, I guess whoever was like kind of spitting the sound back at you.
Yeah.
It was giving that like Live Aid performance where he was like, do
Yeah.
this. I was like, I don't know if you were going for that, but it was pretty cool.
I was just, that call and response in that video was all just like, okay, what would be fun to watch? And it's like, of course that'd be fun to watch.
That's cool. That
people
was cool.
can repeat, you know?
Yeah. Because it's like now it's interactive.
Exactly.
And that's different.
Yeah.
Like a lot of artists. And I feel like Queen actually was one of the first people. Maybe I might be wrong. Don't fucking quote me. But I'm filled with random facts. But Queen was actually one of the first bands to have an interactive song with Champion or whatever it's called. Like, we are the champions. So, like, if you remember, the way it starts, it's...
Oh, and everyone would get involved in that, which is genius.
So
That's genius
that
right
was
there.
the idea. And it
Can't
wasn't
lie.
Freddie Mercury's idea. It was, I forgot what's his face. Because I feel like everybody had a spotlight in that band. Like, every songs that have gotten famous was everybody's kind of turn. But I forgot who it was. I'm sorry that I don't know. But it is a true fact. He had this idea. He was like, I have this idea of just them creating that sound for us before we come on. And then they did that. And then I guess from that, Freddie was like, well, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to sing this and that. You know what I mean? But I feel like they were good at working together. So that interactive part is always dope.
Well, and you know, you're giving me ideas here with that whole. It's just those. It's just those small things that any non-musician could do.
Yeah,
like,
facts.
I was trying to make it as simple as possible.
It's a vibration and it keeps people going. Vibrations are real, you know? And you just, now you're amplifying that vibration, which is sick.
And everyone's a part of it.
That
you
part.
know?
That part. And you don't even got to speak English or Spanish or any language.
Exactly.
Maybe it will probably be bad if you're deaf, but I'm sure like...
You can still feel it.
Feel it, exactly.
It's molecules moving through
Yeah,
air.
you're still gonna feel the little like wet waves. So it's like it's a vibe. It's very universal. That's actually, I never thought of it like that. It's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. This interview is pretty cool.
Hey, cool.
All right.
I'm glad.
Who's your honorable mention?
Oh, my honorable
Yeah,
mention
you said
of dead
3.
people? Okay, so I said Freddie
You said
Mercury.
of dead people?
Well, I mean, hey.
I said dead or alive.
Or alive? Oh, I
Yes.
was thinking dead people.
No, I said dead or alive.
Herbie Hancock all the way.
Okay.
Yeah, or, oh, crap, no, Kendrick Lamar. I choose Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
I feel like Kendrick Lamar would hear my bars and actually like them.
Ooh.
I know that sounds crazy. But yeah.
Never know what could happen, yo.
He's the guy that started me on music. I'm like producing. So him
Let
and
me
Terrence
tell
Martin.
you,
So.
speak, manifest your dreams because anything's possible. Like where you're sitting at right now, shout out to Gabby Rose. She was a guest of mine last 2 winters ago. I met her at Pier 115. She's a sick ass saxophone player. Amazing. Definitely
You were
check
telling
her
me
out.
about her. Yes.
Yes, amazing. She was literally, I saw her at Pier 115. She was just kind of chilling, playing there with the house music. And I just thought she was sick. I was like, yo, you got to come on my show. I think it's just so cool what you do. And the next thing you know, like 6 months later, the Jonas Brothers gets her to like, and now she's touring with them. And she's
That's
their lead
awesome.
female
Wow.
saxophone player. And now she's in Australia with them. She's touring with them the whole year and more.
That's sick.
So shout out to Gabby Rose, and also shout out to Aji from Tomorrow's Never Promised. So Aji basically was on my show 2 years ago, and I'm rooting for you, man. He's on American Idol right now, and he made it past the top 25.
Let's go, Aji.
And he's from Brooklyn, out here doing big things, and it just goes to show you, like, keep going. It might not happen right now, but if you just stay consistent with what you want and you have a great support group and you just stick to it, like, keep that shit in fucking tact, bro. You never know what's gonna happen.
That's what I'm doing. I mean,
You're the only
consistency.
person that could keep your brand alive.
I am the brand, and I've been very acknowledgeable. Is that a word? If it is, I'm modern day Shakespeare. What can I say?
Okay.
No, but I acknowledge that, and I'm actually really, trying to go as hard as possible. I've been trying to release a song every month. I mean, just at the beginning of the year, I had 30 monthly listeners, and now I have almost 20. So
Hey.
that was really helpful. And, you know, TikTok, you know, to do some promotion on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, all the different platforms, they eventually start colliding.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I really started to actually start to see a difference in Spotify streams, when I started utilizing all the platforms. For all the people out there who are thinking about, you know, putting themselves out there and branding themselves, it's really good to get yourself out there consistently on every platform, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook marketing also works very well, which I need to tap into more.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
There's some people who really are successful from it. Yeah.
I gotta tap into more of the TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. I feel like I always show Instagram the most love. But
TikTok's where it's at.
Yeah.
I'm a voucher for TikTok. I just hope China isn't stealing my information.
Oof. But you know what? I'm here for it, man. All right. Any performances, love, that people should kind of know about, like, you know, where, you know, let us know what you got going on.
No performances. I only like to perform with a band, and it's not looking like that's likely. So I'm not doing any performances, but I have a single coming out April 26th, entitled Over Yonder. I just recorded it in California. It was co-produced by Chromatic Chromatic Productions. You can check them out. Chromatic, Marcel Mantras, and I had a trumpet player named Oliver. I'm sorry, Oliver. I don't know I think it's King Oliver that he goes by on Instagram, and Bass God, as well as a drummer whose name I'm spacing on, and I'm very apologetic about that, my friend. But got a new track coming out, and I'm super excited. I recorded it in LA, and yeah, it was a really good time. Yeah.
Let's go. So we got some new music coming in. No performances, but hopefully soon.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that really works out for you, because the whole band vibe, even like you rocking by yourself, that's magic. But that was magic too, and it's cool.
You.
Like, you know, you said you were a band leader. Like, I'm sure you're good at delegating and all that.
Well,
It'll happen.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Yeah. Well, as long as I got musicians to put lead sheets in front of and maybe a couple of notes, then I'll be able to perform. But right now it's just complicated because everyone that was in that video was all over the country. I mean, one of my members is in Portland.
Okay.
One of them's a couple of them are in Buffalo, New York. People were the horn players were in Boston. One of the singers goes to school in Philadelphia.
That's cool though.
Yeah, so it was people that came from all over the world.
Super nomadic vibe.
Yeah, but I loved it, and I didn't settle. I wanted my friends and my brothers and homies to be involved, and almost every single one of them was. Not all of them, unfortunately, because financial reasons. But I got every single one of my brothers involved, and that's all that really mattered to me. I feel like that's what made the magic happen, was the fact that I was on the same page with all of my friends, and we all had the same ambition to make the coolest video ever. And yeah, it was a blast.
I love it.
And we partied all night, and I didn't go to bed until 7 a.m.
Wow. But you made a great content.
Yeah,
great content.
Thank you.
And at least now it's like a night that you could always remember forever, which is pretty sick, you know?
Oh, I'm going to tell my kids about it. I'm going to be like,
look, I have a film to prove it. I have a film to prove it.
Yeah.
All right, before we go on our because we are towards the end of the show.
Wrapping it up? Okay.
If you could give an advice to anybody that's jumping into the music industry, entertainment industry, anything like that, what words of advice would you give to them?
Don't play into politics. Politics will constrict your creativity. Just try to be, the best that you potentially can be. And if you're comparing yourself, do it critically and do it in a way that is productive. You're not going to sound like piano players. You're not going to sound like Art Tatum. Rappers, you're not going to sound like Kendrick Lamar. Singers, you're not going to sound like Aretha Franklin, but sound like you and do it authentically and do it relentlessly. And, I feel like, not being involved in the politics, oh, this guy's got this many followers, this blah, blah, blah. And just seeing people as human beings, that is longing for some sort of connection or just to be heard in some way, shape, or form. That's every musician. And if you just strip it down to that, you start to realize that we all are capable of making some dope music.
That part. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So that's my advice.
All right. So before we go, my friend, if you could let everybody know where to find you, how to find your music.
You can find me at The Junk Experiment on Instagram, as well as TikTok, Spotify, The Junk Experiment, Apple Music. I'm on YouTube, also as The Junk Experiment. If you see a tall white dude, it's probably me, The Junk Experiment.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, everybody that's been tuned in with us today, everybody that's in the check-in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, especially if you like content like this. Thank you so much for making this episode super special. So yeah, also thank you for coming by.
Thank
this
you.
Was a dope
this was
episode.
awesome. I appreciate you for having me, and I love talking. Yeah,
I got you, my friend. Definitely, I've been putting on a lot of people to your music. I've been telling people like, listen,
much appreciated.
Definitely, because when you have magic, you share it. You don't gatekeep it. You know what I mean? It's sounds that I feel like everybody should feel, and I just want to say thank you for being an amazing guest, for sure.
God bless you.
Vibey vibes, my friends. Yes. So with that being said, this is the end of our show. Thank you everyone again for making this very, very special. Gonna end with the shout outs. Again, shout out to Rip Dispensary. We out of here. But before I go, know it's your girl, Mina Mendoza. Little girl, big personality, queen of spice. We out. Let's go. Love